Okay? Now I'm just going to start by saying that a series, okay, it's very important for you to know what it is. What most learners in grade 12, they will talk about a series, without knowing what exactly it is. Okay? So I'm going to try and make it as simple to you as possible. This is a new concept. It is related to sequences. Okay? That's a simple definition. A series is just a sum of all the terms in a sequence. Okay? A series is a sum of all the terms in a what? In a sequence. Okay? Or you can say it is an addition of all the terms in a sequence. Let's use the word addition. A series is an addition of all the terms in a sequence. Okay? Now, a series has got its own notation, right? It is denoted by capital letter S with a subscript N. It's denoted by a capital letter S with a subscript N. Okay? Then, let's introduce the arithmetic sequence now and see the relationship between an arithmetic sequence and an arithmetic series. So we have a new heading, arithmetic series.
SN.
Yeah, it's SN. Right? I'm going to give you a definition of an arithmetic series now. Okay, a simple definition. An arithmetic series is an addition of all the terms in an arithmetic sequence. Okay? An arithmetic series is an addition of all the terms in an arithmetic sequence. Okay. Right? Now, if we incorporate our knowledge of T and then we introduce also A and D into a series, then we can end up having this. So I'm going to say in the next step, that is if I use T, okay, if I use T, when I write my series, okay, for an arithmetic sequence, it will be Sn is going to be equal to T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus up to Tn. So a series is just an addition of all the terms in a sequence. In this case, we are talking about an arithmetic series. So all the terms in an arithmetic sequence, if we add them, will form what is called a series. You following? Okay, now if we introduce A and D now, okay, this equation here is going to change. We introduce the what? A and D. So the next page, I'm going to say, therefore, if we can rewrite that series, which is arithmetic, as Sn is equal to, remember the first term T1 is equal to A. Remember that. First term T1 is equal to what? To A. The second term is equal to A plus D. So I can put that in brackets because it is the binomial. The third term is going to be A plus 2D. I'll put it in brackets because it's a binomial, okay? Then I'll say plus up to the last term. Now the last term is always A plus n minus 1 times D. Okay? So make sure you are familiar with that pattern for the series. Okay? Now there's a simple formula that can be used to calculate the sum. Okay? The sum of the terms in a series. Okay? The Sn formula, we can introduce a simplified version of that formula. So let's write formula for calculating the sum of terms. The sum of terms in an arithmetic series. Okay, the formula, right, I'm just going to write it down, then you derive that formula because it's part of your curriculum. You have to know how to derive the formula. So the formula is written as Sn is equal to n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. That's the formula. If you've been going over your stuff, probably you've seen this formula before. Okay. So that's the formula for the sum of terms in an arithmetic series. If you want to know the total after adding them, you can get into that formula. Okay, it makes it easier if you've got lots of terms. Okay, right? Now here, when you define what I don't know space here, where you need to know, you need to write down what those letters represent. Where Sn, okay, is the sum of the terms, is the sum of n terms. Okay, your n is the total number of terms. Okay, A is the first term. First term in brackets, I'll say T1. And D is the common difference. Okay. Now, next aspect will be how to derive this formula. Okay, because that can come in examination. It's examinable. Huh? I can't hear you. Okay, there's another formula, but I'll talk about that one later on. Okay. How you end up having that formula. Okay, so let me derive this formula here. It has got a sister or a brother that I need to talk about later on after I've derived this one. Okay, this is the main one. There's a second one as well. This is related to this. So I'll talk about that one later on. So deriving the formula used to calculate the sum of terms in a in an arithmetic series. Okay, let's derive that formula. First thing, you now know that Sn, we can write Sn using A and D. So if I write Sn is equal to A plus, okay, the second term it will be A plus D, the third term is going to be A plus 2D, right? Then if I skip all the other terms, right? If I skip all the other terms in between, and then I just write, listen carefully, and then I just write the last term, which will be A plus n minus 1 times D. Okay? Let me put this in brackets. Right? I don't have enough space to write all the terms. So I wrote the first three, and then the last term. Now, this is an equation. I can call it equation 1. Okay? That one will be equation 1. Right? Now, I can rewrite equation 1 starting from the last one towards the first one. Okay? It's like if I say 5 plus 2 is 7, am I right? I can also say 2 plus 5 is also what? 7. So I can start from the end. If I do that, let me use a different color. If I do that, I can end up with Sn is equal to, I'm starting with that one, so it will be A plus n minus 1 times D. Okay? Then I'll write a term before this one, which is not there. Okay? The term before this one is going to be n minus 2. We are going backwards. This is the last one. So the one before it is going to be n minus 2. So I'm going to end up having plus A plus n minus 2 times D. Okay? And then the third one, since I started with 3, I need to start with 3. The third one will be plus A plus n minus 3 times D. Then I'll say plus plus up to the last term, which is going to become A because A is the first one, so it becomes the last when I rewrite that equation. Okay? Then I can call this one equation 2. So that's equation 2. So by adding equation 1 and 2, by adding equation 1 and equation 2, we will get make sure you pay attention now. This part, we need a bit of some algebra. Sn plus Sn is going to give me 2 Sn is equal to A plus n minus 1 times D. A plus A will give me what? 2A. Then I'll write here plus n minus 1. Okay? Then plus. If I add A plus D to A plus n minus 2 times D, I'm going to get this as well. 2A plus n minus 1 times D. Alright. Let me just by this part. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you can try it in your own time. I'm just going to show you that the second term here, that is A plus D in equation 1. If I add it to the second term in the second equation, that's A plus n minus 2 times D. Right? If I simplify this, A plus A gives you what? 2A. Right? Then we remove brackets here. We'll get plus D plus ND, okay, minus what? 2D. Am I right? Huh? Yes. Okay, then we have got 2A you've got d minus 2d gives you what? Minus d, so you end up having plus md minus d. And then you have a common factor here, which is d, so we take out that d. And then you get that. Okay? Now you can do that for all of them. If you do it, you still get the same answer, which is 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Up to the last one, which is going to be 2a plus n minus 1 times d. This will be up to n terms. Okay? This will be up to what? N terms. So you're going to have n numbers that are the same. Okay? If I give you, say, 10 rand each in this class, if I give you 10 rand each now, you have about 23 of you. What's the total? It's what? Okay. You have about 23 of you today. I give 10 rand each. What's the total amount that I was saying? 230, right? Now, you can use that same concept here to determine the total of the left-hand side. Sorry, of the right-hand side. So you have got n numbers that are equal to 2a plus n minus 1. That's like your 10 rand. Okay? But there are n of them. Okay? Which is like the 23. So, to get the total of the right-hand side, it will be this term times what? N. So I can write this as n, which is the total number of the terms, times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Then, you don't have to waste time. You divide both sides by 2. Okay? You divide both sides by 2, get Sn equal to n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. So this is the formula that you are going to use. I have derived it, okay, which means I have shown you how to get the formula, and I'm going to talk about the system. Okay? Any questions before I talk about the system? Let me hear what you say.
Can you please put me on the group?
Okay. Yeah, no, don't worry, I won't take too much time. Right. Sometimes, can I have your attention? I'm actually, because the bell is about to. I'll give you a second. Huh?
Not done.
Yeah, it won't take me long.
Okay. So you want it to come to mind?
Okay. If you insist, then I'll stop.
Good.